Ever since these Metoo posts have been showing up on social media, I've been wanting to write something. I've been wanting to say something. And every time I would open up my phone to start writing, I would turn it back off and put it down. And I couldn't get myself to start. I couldn't get myself to write anything. Last night I said to myself, you know what? You're just gonna make a video. Just do it. Don't think about it. And today, more than a few times, I turned my phone on, turned it right back off. And I realized I had a lot of fear, had a lot of shame, had a lot of guilt. And one of the things that I had so much fear over was the consequences. What if I say something and someone gets angry at me? Or what if my problems aren't as bad as other people's? And they're not. There are people that have been through horrible sexual abuse, horrible sexual harassment, horrible experiences. But that doesn't make anything that I've been through any better or worse. And I came to realize that it really is about each person's journey. And my story is equally as important as is yours. And I wanted to make a video to not just share some of the things that I went through, but also just to open up the possibility for maybe you to share something that's happened for you. I've learned all too well how bad it is to keep secrets. When I was in abusive relationships and I never told anybody. And now when it comes to anything to do with women, I'm not sure all the men around really know what we deal with on a regular basis. And it's important for us all to be aware and to be open and honest with what we've experienced so that we can make things better. Because we don't want it to be like it is now, and it has been for so long. We don't want our kids to have to deal with this. When I was little, there was a boy in my class that liked me. How did I know he liked me? Well, I was told that him throwing spitballs and trying to throw desks at me was a sign. Not a very good way to show someone you like them, that's for sure. Being afraid to walk down the street, not just for the catcalls, but jogging by yourself. As a female, I'm nervous about it. What if someone tries to grab me and pull me away? The amount of traveling that I missed out on because I was afraid to travel by myself. I'm not sure necessarily I was ever told. Maybe I was. Maybe it was something I didn't even realize that I was learning. Girls just don't travel by themselves. It was keeping me from doing a whole bunch of things. To 12-year-old me, when I was at camp and I was waiting for my parents to come and pick me up, and 4 boys that I knew, older boys, came around and we were talking, and I don't even know what happened. They grabbed me, and each one of them grabbed an arm, leg, and they started pulling me away. And at first I was laughing, and then I started to get really scared. And they were pulling me to a place where there was not as many people. I don't even know where I was. And one of the guys pushed the other one away and grabbed my other leg and started opening and closing my legs with this anger and hatred in his eyes. Someone came, scared them off, and pretty quickly my parents showed up, and I didn't tell them. And I didn't tell them because I was embarrassed and ashamed and felt guilty, like I had done something wrong. And in my head, I tried to play it off like it wasn't anything. But I was so thankful that that person came when they did. 13-year-old me, we had neighbors across the street that had an older friend. And this was an older friend of the parents. So he was probably 33 or 35. And he would come over all the time and tell me how pretty I was. And he would start bringing me gifts. And he got me tickets to go see a tennis match. I didn't understand. He was trying to get me alone. I didn't go to the match. But when he started to be a little bit more appropriate and push me over to the side to talk to me alone and tell me that no matter what the other people said, I could still talk to him and I could still be friends with him if I wanted to. Luckily, the neighbors realized something was wrong and he stopped coming around. So I'm thankful for that. But a 33, 35-year-old man thinking that it was appropriate to do that with a 13-year-old, I'm so glad that I never went anywhere with him. For the amount of times that I was a child and I was told that my looks were the most important thing, and that if I was too sure of myself, too bossy, too opinionated, those were all seemed to be, from my perspective, as bad things. It wasn't my intelligence, it wasn't my brains, it was my looks. And the treating of women like objects is part of what keeps this whole facade going on. We're pretending for what? We're not objects. We need strong, independent women. That's not a negative thing. To be sure of yourself and know who you are is what the world needs more of. Caring and loving, strong, independent people. When I was sick, I was really depressed. I had a lot of health issues going on, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I couldn't do a lot of things. And my ex used to come over, and he would bring me things. And then every once in a while, he would make me feel bad and tell me that if I didn't have sex with him, he wouldn't come over anymore to help me. And even just saying that out loud makes my heart feel like it's beating faster. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to share your deepest, darkest moments. You don't want to share things with other people that you know are going to make them uncomfortable. But it helps, because keeping these secrets is not helping anybody. And I hope that perhaps if you still have young children, or maybe if your children are already grown, you can talk to them, talk to your boys about what it's like to be a man, a real man, one who can talk about his feelings and be respectful and thoughtful and caring. And for women, don't be afraid to say what's on your mind. Don't be afraid to stick up for yourself. You don't have to think of other people all the time. It's okay to think of yourself. It's okay to have boundaries, and it's okay to say when things don't feel right. There's a lot of things that we don't talk about, and it keeps us in prison. And my hope is that sharing my story as whatever it is compared to so many other stories that are out there, because the reality is that if you know a woman, she's dealt with something. And I hope that this video helps open up the possibility for someone else to let go of whatever they need to let go of. Be strong. You've got this. And always remember, you're way stronger than you realize.